What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Scummy Live YouTube channel. So congrats, you've made it to level 8 in Fishing Planet. Welcome to Emerald Lake. This is one of the first big progression spots in Fishing Planet, and today I'm going to help you get fully prepared to move on from Lone Star or Mudwater and start making Emerald Lake your next home for at least the next 10 levels. We'll go over what fish you should actually be targeting, what gear you need, how much each setup costs, and the most effective methods I'd recommend for new players coming here for the first time. Emerald Lake is based in New York in the United States, and let's walk through the reasons why we actually want to be fishing there. So not only do they have cool species of fish, unique sauger, unique pickerel, but they have walleye. And at low levels, the XP that you gain from walleye is going to be substantially better than what you're getting from anything else. That's why Emerald Lake is so important. Travel cost for one day is going to be $3,000, $2,500 to get you there, $500 to extend each day. And when you go to purchase an advanced license, which is definitely the license you're going to want, you're going to be looking at $900 for one IRL real life day. All right, now we get to talk about the fun stuff, the gear. So the good news is that whatever gear you're using at Lone Star or Mudwater is still going to work. You don't need to upgrade any rods. 5-pound walleye is a big walleye at Emerald Lake. They don't get a whole lot bigger. That's the good news. I'm going to go through 3 setups, tell you exactly what you should buy and what it's going to cost you, so you have some options. First setup is the spin setup, so I would recommend purchasing the Value Spin 6.3 rod for 1,250 credits. Good news is you probably already own it. You're going to want to pair that with the InspireCast 3000 reel, which is going to cost you 2,800 credits if you don't already own it. Or line, you're going to want to actually spend a bait coin. This is one of the few times I would recommend spending a bait coin. At this point in progression, it's going to help you get XP that much faster. I would go to a shop and buy the blue level 3 floral line 0.008 for 1 bait coin. It's going to be a 6-pound floral line. It's going to help you get those walleye in much quicker, and it's going to really speed up your progress. And then you're going to want to buy the purple barbless narrow spoon, 1/4 ounce, 1/0 for 3 bait coins in the lures section of the shop. Total cost to put together this spin setup is going to be 4,050 credits and 4 bait coins. So the second setup I'm going to show you guys is a feeder rod. Feeder rods sit at the bottom of the lake, and they are incredibly fun, especially if you have a rod stand to use. For this setup, we're going to use the 710 Creek Pro rod for 1,940 credits with the Crucian Hunter 3000 reel, which is going to cost you 3,000 credits. Use the same blue fluoro that you pay 1 bait coin for, as I talked about in the last setup. Grab a 7/8 ounce sinker for $35. You're going to want to buy a monoliter 0.055. It's going to be 5.5-pound monoliter for 2 bait coins in the shop. And then you're going to want to buy the barbless 1/0 hook for 1 bait coin. If you guys are concerned about spending the 1 bait coin on the 1/0 barbless hook, I can tell you it's probably one of the best bait coin investments you're going to make in the game. Barbless hooks increase your XP per fish by about 15%, and at low levels, it's really not a boost that you want to be missing out on. So make sure you grab the barbless hook. That's really important for match and bottom rods. Total cost for this emerald feeder setup is going to be 4,975 credits and 4 bait coins. So third setup I'm going to show you guys is the float or match rod. There is one stipulation: you do need to be level 9 before purchasing this rod. If you want to use a match or float rod at Emerald Lake, I would highly recommend waiting until level 9 until you can purchase the Omni Float 1410 rod for 2,100 credits to pair with the InspireCast 3000 for an additional 2,800 credits. You're going to use the same blue fluoro that you paid 1 bait coin for, attach a basic bobber for 20 credits, and you're going to use that barbless 1/0 hook that you bought for 1 bait coin. One important thing to keep in mind here: small minnows are going to be the best bait to use for match rods and bottom rods. They run $300 per 10 small minnows, so just make sure you're keeping that bait cost in mind when you're planning your trip. Total cost for this match setup is going to be 4,920 credits and 2 bait coins. Alright, so before I get into showing you guys all of the marks for uniques and walleye, let's talk about how we're going to actually catch these fish. So personally, my favorite rod to use is the spin setup at Emerald. I just find it the most engaging because you're always doing something. You know, you're always reeling it in, you're always retrieving. It's just the most engaging, I find. So this is the setup I find myself using the most often. As far as retrieve, you're going to want to lift and drop or stop and go in about the bottom third of the water column. I've found that to be the most effective. Go to the docks, cast out towards the orange tree on the opposite side about 150 feet. Use that retrieve and you'll be pulling in walleye all day long. I'm going to show the marks for you guys right here. So if you guys want to set the mark for yourself, mark is at 57.5, negative 47. So when using your match rod, you're going to cast towards the exact same location. As far as bait depth, I typically keep it within the 25 to 45 inches range, but it's all going to catch walleye. So feel free to experiment and figure out what works best for whatever your conditions are. Bottom rod is going to be pretty similar to the match rod. You're going to want to cast to that exact same walleye zone. One thing to note, if you do have the rod stand, which I would recommend buying in the shop if you can go to the beach on your left, set the bottom rod on the rod stand, and use a match or spinning rod in your hands to catch more fish. The rod stand you're going to want to use for that is the level 6 slingshot mono rod stand, which is going to cost you 530 credits. Definitely a good thing to bring with you to the lake if you can afford it, and if you can also afford a second rod setup. And while we're here, I just want to touch on the importance of upgrading your keep net as early as possible. Keep nets are so important in this game because they help you progress faster. The more fish you can hold in your keep net, the more profit you're going to make each day. At level 8, you unlock the large fish hut for $2,000. I would highly recommend all of you purchase this before you come to Emerald Lake. It's just going to make your progression that much faster. So, while walleye are definitely the main target fish at this lake, there's a lot of other interesting fish that you can catch. So if you want to be able to catch some of those other fish while you're there, I would recommend bringing a number 8 hook, a number 12 hook, some semolina balls, bloodworms, red worms. Make sure you bring your small minnows, and bread is always good for the panfish. If you're going to want to target pike or pickerel type fish, the good news is you can use your exact same walleye setup. Use a match or a feeder rod, cast it close to the reeds on the side of the lake, and wait. You could use a 1 to a 4-aught here. 4-aught would probably give you a higher trophy or unique bite rate, but experiment and find out what works best for you. If you want to target the pike and pickerel with a spin rod, you can definitely do that. Most topwater lures work really well, although I've found the walker to be particularly effective for pike and pickerel at Emerald. 1, 2, 3-aught casting spoons also work really good. Now, if you want some variety when you're going for walleye, I would definitely recommend worms or shads on a jig head. Keep that jig head size from 1-aught to 4-aught, and you're going to be in the money. One thing to note is the glow variants of those work really well. Nighttime is typically where you're going to be at Emerald for the free fast travels. So those glow variants are a really good thing to get in your backpack as soon as you can get them. Now, I definitely could have more marks, but I'm going to share every single mark I have with you guys just in case it's helpful. So I'm going to let this play out, and we'll be back to talk about the final things to consider. Hopefully those marks were able to help some of you guys out. A mistake that I make all the time is straight up forgetting something. So before I let you guys go and catch all the walleye in the lake, I want to go over all final costs that you should be considering. Firstly, the license, $900. Secondly, travel, $3,000. If you need to build a rod setup, it's going to be about $4,500. Keep in mind the cost of bait. Small minnows aren't cheap. You're going to want to bring at least 20 with you to the lake. So that's going to be $600. Large keep net, highly recommended, another $2,000. Don't let that $11,000 total in the bottom left scare you though. Most of you guys are already going to have a rod setup. That will work for walleye. So if you take that $4,500 away from $11,000, you're going to get $6,500. That's about the minimum range you're going to want before going to Emerald. You can see on the right the optional items: rod stand, comfort, camper vest to help you hold more lures, second rod setup, and additional lures will all help you get the job done quicker. Well, that's it. Hopefully you guys feel more prepared than you did when you came in. If you guys feel like you guys got value out of the video, make sure to drop a like, hit subscribe. If you guys are new to the game or looking for a Fishing Planet community, make sure to join the Discord below. We have a huge community of guys who are on every day playing the game and who love to help out. So I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.